I'm showing you my favorite fun and simple ways to shape bread rolls. Now these are perfect for any special occasion where you really want to wow your friends, or anytime you just want to have a little bit of fun playing with bread dough. Now I've actually teamed up with Red Star Yeast to bring you today's video. They're my favorite brand of baking yeast, and the dough that I'm shaping today is actually my ultimate simple dough recipe, which I'll go ahead and link to down below. You can actually use this dough recipe to make anything from bread rolls, pizza, sandwich bread, cinnamon rolls, whatever your heart desires. I have all my tips and tricks and instructions for all of those uses for this dough in that post I'll link to down below. Now, before we get started, I want to share a few quick tips about how to shape bread rolls so that they always look beautiful when they come out of the oven. So tip number one for making beautiful bread rolls is to portion out your dough using a kitchen scale. So what you can do is actually weigh out the total amount of dough that you have and then divide it by how many bread rolls you want to make. So it's usually 12 to 15 bread rolls. And it looks like I will need 70 grams of dough per each portion to get every portion perfectly equal in size and shape. So whatever shape you decide to make with your bread rolls, whether it's one that I'm showing you today or even just standard rolls, what you want to make sure is that you're shaping them really nice and tightly. So what I like to do is actually grab pieces of the dough and bring it all towards a central point at the bottom so that I'm getting a really nice, tight, round shape. So as you can see, when you focus on making a nice tight shape with your bread dough, it goes into the oven and comes out really nice and round and beautiful. When you don't focus on making that nice tight shape, it kind of loses a little bit of height and doesn't look quite as nice and puffy. So we want to make sure that we're shaping our dough nice and tightly no matter what design or shape you're doing. So now that you know the basics to shaping beautiful bread, let's move on to our first shape of bread roll. I'm actually going to be making a swirl. So I have lightly floured my work surface. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. Most of the shapes that we're making today involve making ropes or snakes with the dough. So when you do that, you want to make sure that you don't actually have too much flour on your work surface. Otherwise, you won't get enough traction to create that rope shape by pressing your hands and your fingers out against your work surface. Now I like to just start by kind of shaping the dough into a log and then bring it down onto my work surface and use my fingers and kind of spread my fingers apart to start spreading that dough out into a rope shape. So now for this swirl shape that we're making for this one, I'm just going to take my rope and swirl it around itself. Now the trick here is you want to pinch the end so that it stays in the swirl shape and doesn't unravel while baking. And there we go. All right, so next up we're making a scroll shape. This one could not be more simple. We're just starting again with making a rope, but this time we're going to take the ends of the rope and swirl them into the middle to make for a beautiful scroll shape. It's super simple, but they kind of puff up while they bake in the oven and they look really pretty and gourmet. Our next shape is a braid shape. This one is actually one of my favorites. They end up looking kind of like mini challah loaves, and they're really fun. So I'm gonna take my ball of dough and just divide it into 3 pieces to make my 3 strands for the braid. And I'm going to take each strand and turn it into another rope. So once I have all 3 ropes for my braid, I'm going to place them side by side, and I usually like to put the thickest or the longest rope in the center. And then what you wanna do is pinch the ends together before we start braiding. And then as you braid, it's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna bake up and puff up and look really pretty. You wanna be sure that you're not accidentally tapering into too thin of an end as you go down. So what I like to do is actually kind of press the braid together into the center with the palms of my hands, and that creates a beautiful braid shape. The next shape is another favorite of mine. I'm calling it the spiral twist. And what we're gonna do is take our dough and divide it into 2 equal pieces and then turn each of those pieces into a rope. Okay, so once you have your 2 ropes, again, you're going to pinch the ends together at one side and then just twist them around each other until you have a nice long twist shape. And then all you're going to do is simply turn it into a circle and wrap it around itself, and then again, pinch the sides together so it keeps that shape as it's baking. Okay, our last shape is another really easy one. We're just going to make a knot. You've probably seen these at your favorite Italian-American restaurant like garlic knot. So all you do is create that rope shape. You want to make a nice long one. You want to make it a little bit longer than you think you'll need to. and you kind of want to make it a little bit thin in the middle so that you have a nice area to actually create that knot. So once you've got your rope, it's kind of an awkward movement, but it's okay if you don't get it just right because again, it'll puff up and look beautiful after it's done baking. You just want to tie a knot into the center, and then there you go. It's super simple. All right guys, so that's how you make these beautiful bread roll shapes. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I think these shapes are perfect for any special holiday occasion. Easter's coming up soon, but Thanksgiving, Christmas, or anytime you want to impress your friends. It's kind of like playing with Play-Doh. It's really fun, so I hope you'll give one of these shapes a try soon. If you do, be sure to leave a comment below and let me know how it goes. If you're interested in my ultimate simple dough recipe, that will be linked to down below as well, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to Red Star for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you in another video soon.